All right, so today what we're going to be going over is the health and fitness profile and how a fitness orientation is conducted. So the first thing that we want to ask them is, do you understand why you're here? Because a lot of people come in the room, you don't know what the MC told them, you don't know what the person at the desk told them. Whoever got that FO for you, they might not exactly understand why they're in the room. Now, if you acquired the FO yourself, you're supposed to educate them at that point of exactly what the fitness orientation entails and what you will be doing during the fitness orientation. So the first phase of the fitness orientation will be a data collection, but we don't like to use those type of words when we're dealing with people. So we tell them goal setting, right? So we're gonna sit down, we're gonna go over their goals, we're gonna find out why they're in the gym, which is the most important piece of data that we wanna collect, because if we don't know why they're in front of us, how are we gonna help them, right? So let's just say that everything's good and they assume they know that they're here for the fitness orientation. We're gonna go over some goals, right? We're gonna set goals. We're gonna take some starting point numbers. We're gonna go out on the floor. We're gonna do a quick workout. Then we're gonna come back in and then we're gonna recommend a program for them going forward, which means that we're gonna go over our training packages and help them pick the package that's right for them. And again, I can't stress that enough. When you go to the doctor and you're not feeling well, the doctor tells you this is the prescription, right? You don't sit and tell the doctor what the prescription is. Now, with that, price does come into play. So if a person really needs to train with you twice a week but can only afford it once, we're gonna make sure that we give them the tools, i.e. proper homework, so that they'll be able to reach their goal, right? And sustain success. So the first thing that we want to do when we're going to collect the information, we want their name, we want their phone number, a secondary number, an email, the best time to call, right? Then we want their height, their weight, their age, and an emergency contact, right? So we have all that information. After that information, now we're going to start going into like basic PAR-Q information, right? So we want to know if they have any medical conditions that would inhibit them from training today, right? Or have they had a medical condition in the past that has inhibited them from training? If they have a medical condition that inhibits them from training today at that time, we can still do the FO. However, we're obviously not going to take them on the floor and run them through exercises that they're not medically cleared to do. That's understood, right? Okay, from there, we want to know if they smoke. We want to know if they're on any type of medications or supplements. We want to know if they have any hip, shoulder, or back pain, if they've ever had any surgeries, and if they eat out multiple times a week. So these are common health questions just to find out where they're at health-wise, right? After we find out where they're at health-wise, we want to know a little bit about what they do at work and what kind of recreational activities that they're into. Knowing what they do at work will give us a better understanding of not only how we can program for them, but it can also give us a light to, as you know, if they're sitting all day, maybe that's why they have a little bit of back pain, or if they're at their desk all day, not moving around, maybe that's why they're not burning enough calories to lose weight. And there are ways that we can go about helping them with that when we program. So we want to know, do they have a sedentary job, or do they have a job where they're performing a lot of physical activity, right? We want to know if their job has repetitive movement patterns. We want to know if they engage in any recreational activities. Now, recreational activities could be skateboarding, surfing, hiking, pickup basketball, flag football, weightlifting, all types of different activities that people partake in, right? So on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the maximum, we then want to know what their stress level is at work. Now, stress, high stress, can lead to weight gain, right? We all know that. We also know that there's numerous studies that have been done how exercise can help alleviate stress. So we can let them know right there how getting into a results-driven program can actually help them relieve stress and tension that they have from their job that they deal with day to day. From there, we want to know what their exercise history is. Is this their first time in the gym? Have they been in the gym before? Have they worked with a trainer before? This is very important, right? Somebody who's worked with a trainer before, more than likely to work with a trainer again, right? Depending on that experience. And then we also kind of want to dive into a little bit of how their experience was. How long did they train? Why did they stop training, right? And then we kind of want to know how their spouse, significant other, if they don't have a spouse or significant other, family members, are they supportive of them training, making a lifestyle change? This is very important because a lot of people that you'll sit down and speak to will tell you they have to ask their spouse. If their spouse is supportive and they're telling you that they're supportive, that's something that we know is not going to be an objection, right? So from there, we want to know different stages of their life and how rigorously have they exercised throughout that if they were involved in an exercise training program, right? So the different age ranges would go from 15 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, and 50 plus. Obviously, if somebody tells you that they're 25 years old up here, you're going to stop at the second window, right? Have they ever started an exercise program and stopped, right? So maybe they started training, they were seeing some kind of results. For some reason they stopped. We want to know why they stopped. Was it an injury? Did they fall off because they didn't have that support? They didn't have that structure of a trainer, right? They didn't have someone helping them. So after we find out the reason why, we want to know, have you been training now? Have you been coming to the gym now? Obviously, if it's a new member, maybe they were at another gym. So it definitely bears asking this question, right? And then we want to know what kind of routine that they're using. This is very helpful, right? And I like to use this statistic. 89% of people who join gyms are unsuccessful, they don't reach their goals, and they quit within 3 months. A lot of times they do this because they lack structure, right? So if they've never trained with a trainer before, they've never had that structure, they're more prone to leaving the gym. And we, obviously, like we spoke about last week, we're the training department and we want to train people, but we also want to make sure that we have as many people that are members of this gym as possible, right? So then we're going to get into their current goals, right? And what are their current goals? And now this is also going to lead a little bit to what their current exercise program is like, because a lot of people will tell you that they want to lose 20 pounds. And then when you dive into what their exercise program is, they're walking on the treadmill, right? So then we're able to kind of explain to them, right? We're able to educate them through science that working the glycolytic energy system, right, and depleting muscle glycogen is then going to lead to tapping into stored belly fat for fuel, right? As opposed to using the oxidative energy system, which is what they're going to use for long, steady state cardio on a treadmill. As soon as they get off the treadmill, they're going to stop burning those calories. And we know that somebody who's weightlifting and losing weight is going to lose somewhere about 80 to 90% of fat to muscle ratio, whereas somebody who's walking on a treadmill is going to lose probably half fat and half muscle, right? So they may even be losing weight, but their body fat percentage is not going down, and this is going to help us to help them identify why, right? So then, obviously, because now we're educating them on the correct energy systems and how to train, now we can ask them if they've been able to achieve their goals. Now, somebody who's been walking on a treadmill is not really able to achieve their goals. So now we can kind of break this down a little bit more. So then we want to, we're going to use an emotional tie-in question to that, where if they did reach their goals, how would that make them feel? Now, we obviously know the answer to the question. It would make them feel great, but just to get them to say that, this would make them feel great, now is getting them thinking like, hey, if this, this is a good fit and this person's the right person for me to move forward with in a results-driven program, I would indeed be feeling great about this, right? So when we sit down and we develop training programs for clients, we need to know how many days that they're willing to devote per week to reaching their goals. Obviously, if somebody wants to lose fat and they're only willing to dedicate 1 day a week, we have to redirect them to working more than 1 day. Now, next week when we talk about programs and how we're going to program people, just because somebody's training with you 1 day a week doesn't mean that they should only be in the gym training 1 day a week, right? That should obviously go without saying, right? So after that, we've spoken about goals and we've spoken about how we're training, types of training. We're gonna ask them, how do you feel that I can help you? How do you feel training with a trainer can help you reach your goals, right? So you'll get all different answers to this question. A trainer will give me accountability, a trainer will give me structure. Like we were just going over before, this is a study. Average person looking to lose weight, working with a trainer, not working with the trainer. People who worked with the trainer lost 325% more weight than people who weren't working with a trainer. And now when you're sitting down with someone, and we definitely want to educate people that we're sitting down with, when you're giving them solid, concrete evidence, it's now making them think that, you know what, I think that this is something that I should do, that it should be a good decision, right? And then after that, we want to know what's their expectations that are going to come out of this today. And before we go out on the floor and run them through a short workout, we want to ask them, what's their biggest obstacle getting in the way of training, of me being your trainer, right? So then right then and there, if they tell you their spouse and then they told you that their spouse is completely supportive, that doesn't add up, right? Or if it's time and they've already told you that they're willing to dedicate so much time, we know that time isn't really the issue. If they're telling you it's money, well, then, we have packages and price points for everybody. So that shouldn't be an issue either. So we've gone over everything. You know that you want to train. We're going to make it happen for you, regardless of what it is. After that, we're going to take them out. We're going to perform our assessment, right? Then we're going to bring them back in, and based off our assessment, we're going to recommend the correct program for them going forward. You can cut it.